Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. So in today's video, we're just gonna pick up from where we left off in the last one. We'll just deep dive more into the global talent visa, which is what we're on. So basically, when we got the news that we're moving, and when after we moved to UK, one thing that everybody had a question about is what visa, what kind of visa did you get? What did you get a sponsorship from a company, or like what was this? So everyone is very curious about this visa, and everyone was under the impression that this is a work visa, which it is, but we are
It's not a
endorsed.
work visa.
It's not a work visa. Basically,
Yeah.
you can come into the UK and work here, or start a business, or
Yeah.
basically just contribute to the economy. And the UK government endorses you to come into the country and work here, basically. So that's what this whole global talent visa is about. It's an endorsement directly from the UK government.
For exceptional talent to come over to the country
Yes.
to contribute to the economy. So you're not tied up by any employer, nor you're tied up to do with like a limited visa status. You have a fixed amount of years that you can stay in the country. You can work for any employer that you choose, or you can start your own business and make jobs for more people in the UK.
There's like three different fields that they endorse, which is there's arts,
Academic and tech.
academic and research. There's arts and culture, and there's also tech. So we applied through. I mean, Zahid applied through the tech route. Um, yeah, maybe you can talk more about that.
Yeah, and the tech route, there's two types. There's exceptional talent. There's exceptional promise. Exceptional talent means that you basically get a visa for 3 years, and after 3 years you get a leave to remain. That basically means you're a permanent resident of the UK. Or exceptional promise, that is for 5 years, and after 5 years you get to know if you basically become a leave to remain after 5 years. And within the tech route, you need the endorsement body is called Tech Nation. So you go through Tech Nation to basically get your endorsement. So the global talent visa process is like split into two stages. You have the first stage and the second stage. Stage one is you put in the application to gov.uk, where you tell gov.uk you want to apply for global talent, and then you then go to Tech Nation and apply for your endorsement. Stage two is you get the endorsement, and then you go to Global Talent Visa on gov.uk, and you get your visa, you do your PRP stuff, and you basically get the visa. So stage two is basically
Like the whole
guaranteed
visa
the visa process
of like your approved
Yeah.
visa.
Yeah.
You've already been like accepted and
Endorsed.
endorsed,
Yeah.
and now you just need to apply for the visa and get the visa, which is already given.
Yeah. It's like 99% chances of you basically getting stage
Yeah.
two once you get stage one.
Stage one. Now, stage one is the tricky part because
Yeah.
there is
Not everyone gets the endorsement.
Gets through
it's,
the
it's very
endorsement.
difficult.
It's a very strict and very difficult process to go through.
You have to basically prove to the tech nation that you are an exceptional talent or exceptional promise in any way, so that they can actually endorse you. So there has like
Yeah.
a bunch of criterias that you have to showcase, like if you're contributed to open source, you've
This is for tech, by the way,
yeah.
what he's talking about.
You've did a hackathons, and you really built something great there. You've worked in product based companies where you built
Research.
really meaningful products and changed certain big problems that people face.
Like you've brought innovation,
You've
and
done
you've done a lot
academic
of research
in your field and contributed towards that. You've done presentations, you've done workshops,
a whole bunch of things.
there's a whole list of things that you need to basically have evidence for. And the first mistake we did is we had no idea about all these evidences. We just went straight in.
We knew that we had to make a move from Dubai, and UK was the first option because Zahid studied here and he worked here for a year, so he was very comfortable with the culture here, and like he really liked it here, so he always wanted to come back here. Initially, what everybody thinks of is that the only way to come into the country is through a work visa, like you need to get a sponsorship from a company, right? Even now that when we are here in the UK, when I was applying for jobs, they were not willing to give visa for people who are already in the country even. So it is a very difficult thing to get that work visa. So we were applying for jobs for work visa, the ones that were giving sponsorships, and we kept applying for like months. We were just applying for jobs with visa and with sponsorship, and we couldn't find any because most companies were not willing to offer sponsorship for us from Dubai. So that's how we stumbled upon the Global Talent Visa. And when we saw that, we were like, okay, this is our one shot. You just have to, just apply. We didn't really dig deep and find out what we needed and if we can actually apply and all of that. Zahid just read the like a general idea of what this visa is, and we just paid the application fee and just got it.
Yep.
And then we found out, oh, you need this, all of this.
And
like
we weren't
100
ready
things.
for that. Like we had no documents, and you have a deadline that you need to submit
Yeah, after you
to get
apply.
the endorsement.
Yeah.
And we had none of the documents prepared. So the mistake number one that we want everyone watching this video to avoid is
Do your
go through
research.
your technician. If you're going to technician, go to the document list. Have your documents ready. Once you have them all prepared, then you go do your
apply.
stage one into gov.uk, pay the money, and then you go apply for your endorsement through technician. Because if you do the way we did it, you're going to be super tense because you are on a
super
strict
stressful.
timeline,
And you'll have a lot of things to
You have a
prepare
lot of
within
things to
that
prepare.
short time frame, which
Yeah.
we were not prepared for. So one thing, number one, do your research. Go into the gov.uk website of what is this global talent visa. See what are the criterias, because there is so many different options in there. There are. I mean, I think I've read that you can apply directly for the endorsement if you have certain awards. So that's a different thing. So there's multiple criterias and multiple options through the global talent visa itself. So you might want to do your research on that. And if you do select which area that you want to go to, like let's say for example we went through the tech route, so go into the technician website, see what are they looking for, what do you need to prepare, and do your research and homework basically. And then you apply for the so you apply
Yeah.
for the endorsement.
Yeah.
So let's go with timeline now. When did you?
I paid the fees to Global Talent. I did stage one around 14th of October 2022.
Two.
And so basically I had 14 days to do my whole submission. And what we did was we first didn't know anything to do, and you should get this lawyer, you should get an immigration lawyer. Immigration lawyer will tell you how your documents are, and they will basically tell you how good top quality of your documents is because they have their experiences of seeing your documents. First part is the Global Talent Visa Stage 1, where you go into the gov.uk website and you need your passport information and maybe the tuberculosis test, depending on the country you're applying from. And you basically pay, I think, around £456 to put in the first stage one application on the gov.uk website. You get a reference number saying that you have applied for an endorsement, and you also mention who's your endorsing body. And for that, in this scenario, it's Technician for me. And then you go to the Technician website. So you go to the Technician website, set up your account, link that reference number that you got from gov.uk, so that you basically have the technician profile linked to your gov.uk stage
Home
one
office.
home office profile basically. And then you start your technician endorsement. So technician endorsement process is basically collecting all your evidences, creating your personal statement, and then uploading that onto the technician. It's a huge process basically to do that. You have to basically make sure certain guidelines are met. What we didn't know is we had no idea how to structure documents that home office technician wanted. When you go into the technician website, there's two routes. There's the exceptional talent and the exceptional promise. So to get either one, the evidences you need to submit are different. Exceptional talent means you enter as already exceptional talent basically in your country, and you have maybe more than 7 years of experience, and you've really have shown that you're super good, and you basically get a 3-year visa for exceptional talent, and after 3 years you become a leave to remain citizen of UK, so you can stay here as a permanent resident. Exceptional promise, on the other hand, is you're less than 5 years of experience, and you are showing that you have the capabilities to become an exceptional talent at a later stage. So you get a 5-year visa, and
Tier 1 visa. This is a tier 1 visa.
Whole process is Global Talent Visa is a tier 1 visa. So you get a 5-year visa, and after 5 years you become a leave to remain in the country. And for both of them, you have different criteria. So you have to meet one mandatory evidence criteria and two optional evidence criteria for both. So yeah, for the exception talent, you need to the mandatory criteria is that you need to have a proven track record that you were a founder or a very senior executive of a product based company. So this is very important. The whole global talent visa in the technician route, it only focuses on product based companies. If you're working for a consultancy, it doesn't apply here. They don't accept consultancies at all.
You can also
And
be a business. It says here
you can be a business
business
applicant, but also working in a product based tech company.
Yeah.
It doesn't apply otherwise. You can't be a business working employee working for a business based company. It's not allowed for the tech route. And basically, you have to showcase that you have tremendous and exceptional ability in this field, and that you have
An
showcased that
expert in the field that you're working
in your work, and you've made that contribution towards that
You've
field.
done beyond just your job,
Yeah.
basically.
So this is what you need for the exceptional talent. The
Mhm.
exceptional promise is a bit different. So you need to show proof that you have contributed towards the field in a way. You don't have to have had a senior executive role. It could be, a more engineering
software
senior
developer,
engineer,
analytics.
yeah, analytics based role.
Yeah.
And even in that path, you have still made contributions. Maybe like open source. You made contributions. And
There are so many roles by there's a list of roles that are accepted by the technician, so that you
Yeah.
have to go into and look at, because you might think, okay, maybe I'm not capable, like I'm not cut to apply for this, but you might be. So
yeah,
it's worth looking at that list that they have.
yeah.
Yeah.
So end of the day, how you might be wondering, like how do you represent all this kind of data that they want to see, these evidences basically. So the majority of how they check is through references. So your references that you are going to bring onto the table, they have
Should
to
be
be
strong.
super long. It's not like these small references like saying, hey, I endorse Zahid because he's a great he's worked with me, he's a great employee, he does XYZ, and he's done excellent job at a company, so I think he should apply for global talent visa.
No,
This is wrong. You're not going to get through with this, because there is no valid proof that you've actually done much things other than this guy saying you've done something.
It has to be
it's too
very
general.
specific, and
What
for
they're looking
each-
for, yeah.
For each recommendation letter, there is a format that they're looking for, which has like different parts that this person has to talk about.
Yeah.
One as to like they have to mention what your contribution while working with this person has been.
Yeah.
And they have to mention why this person why they think that you need this UK endorsement.
Yeah.
And what they think that you are going to do when you come here.
Yeah.
So there's a whole like,
and also
breakup
what
for that.
you've done while working with
While
them,
working
that
with
they
them.
found it really amazing, that in the tech industry basically, what you've really contributed towards product, and what innovation did you bring.
Have you brought? Yeah.
So your referee has to really write all of that,
And it has to be long. Like we're
and-
talking 2 pages long. And
yeah,
you need 3 references, a total of 3 different references.
from 3
And-
different companies.
Yep.
You can't have it all from the same company.
Yeah.
And it has to be of your manager. It can't be of your peer. It's
Yeah.
not allowed. And if you're working,
It has to be a senior person to you
yeah.
from the company.
Ideally, it should be if you're working in a startup, it should be the founder. But if
Mhm.
it's a bit more big size, you can be a senior manager or someone like that.
Yeah.
So the references are the most
Very
important thing
important.
that you really need first. Could
All
also
the
work.
reference letters has to be in the company header and with the signature of the person. So there's a whole format to this.
One of the documents you also need is a personal statement, where you have to
Basically,
showcase.
your personal statement is a summary of all the other documents that you
Yeah.
have.
It has to
provided
basically connect all the documents
together.
You have to say that, as shown in this reference here, by this reference here, as shown in these optional evidences supplied of the open source contribution, or as shown in the evidences for my speaking in different in conferences. So this all should be kind of
A summary
as-
document.
assembled in your personal statement.
There should
along
be
with-
references.
yeah.
There should be proper references in this personal statement
to your evidences.
to your evidences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also need to mention, why do you want to come to the UK? Where are you going to stay when you come to the UK? And how will the tech industry benefit from you coming to the UK? And what you're going to do while being here in the UK? So, like, what is your planned occupation? So these are like the things that they want to see, and it's
Yeah.
clearly mentioned in the technician document. These questions,
Requirements.
for
Yeah.
the personal statement.
Because after you gather all your evidence and all your references, that's when you start your personal statement.
So-
Start your personal
yeah.
statement process.
So
I mean, writing.
You can
Yeah.
add up to 10 evidences to support your application, excluding the references, excluding the personal statement. So there's 10 other evidences you can
You
add up
should.
to.
You
So
can.
I would recommend you upload all 10.
All 10,
You
yeah.
should just utilize it all.
Make sure you
And-
give them everything you
Yeah.
have, that they see from every angle that okay, this person has done all of this. Don't miss out on anything. Just because that's optional, don't leave it out. Make sure you add everything you've got, because they do a very thorough check. So that's the one thing that you're probably going to miss out is what will probably get you in. So make sure you add everything in.
Yeah. Let's talk about the mandatory
We're
criteria.
just looking it up because it's been 6 months.
Yeah, and
since we
it's a
applied.
lot to read. So
Yeah.
the mandatory criteria evidences could include, so these are the options you can include as part of your mandatory criteria, that you led the growth of a product-led digital technology company, evidenced by reference letters. That 100% you're going to showcase that. And by news clippings, if you've ever been in the newspaper, lines of code from public repos as in like open source code that you basically showcase to the world. And these are the three main things you can show that you really led the growth. Another mandatory criteria you could apply for is you led the growth of a non-profit organization. Again, showcase evidence by reference letters or news clippings. Another mandatory criteria you could apply to is outside of your normal day-to-day job, you've done some contribution that was outside your field, and you really establish yourself through that. Again, you can showcase that by reference letters from these nonprofits or other companies that you work for outside your normal day-to-day job. Another mandatory criteria you could apply for is that you receive like a national or international recognized award. I don't know what it is. Nobel Prize? No,
not just Nobel Prize.
Yeah,
There's a list of awards that they endorse. So have a look at all the awards that they take. So that could be one of your mandatory evidence.
Or if it's even a local award, you can attach it in like a national award, and it should be at least recognized by some newspaper that they've basically coveraged it, or that you really.
Or if it's from your university for any research that you've done, if they have that on their like university website. Yeah.
And another mandatory criteria you could fall for is that you command a high salary. So that could be done by proof of payslips that you could attach in.
Not just payslip, your what do you call it? Your contract.
Employment contract.
Employment contract.
Yeah.
If you earn a high salary.
Yep.
So that could be one.
So another one could be you publish material in international magazines or publications that you've done. Yeah. And the final one is you've really held a significant expert role in panels. So like, for example, like, hackathons, you were a panel member, assessing roles of others, or any conferences, exhibitions where you're really judging others' skills. So, because that's how big of an expert you are in the field. So these are the mandatory criteria options.
These are the options for the mandatory criteria.
Yeah, you have to meet one of them. There's one mandatory and two options that you need to qualify for. So you need to showcase you've done innovation in your field. And how can you show that? As a founder or senior executive, you can show that using, proof of product in the market. So your product's already there and it's got such significant amount of user growth and revenue. This could be one. Yeah, and evidence for showing that your business has actually
financial
grown in financial years, and the articles of association showing that you've actually owned part of this business that's really grown.
And evidence, you've contributed into that growth.
Yeah,
is basically what.
And evidence of your employment contract. So these are the reasons. These are the ways you could prove that you really worked for a high potential, high innovative company, and you were one of the senior executive members of this company. These are the evidences you could provide to showcase that. The next optional criteria is how to demonstrate that I've been recognized for my work outside of my immediate occupation. So, like outside of your work, how can you evidence that? You could show that by open source projects that you contribute to it. You can show other open source contributions you've done apart from coding. Yeah. Your Stack Overflow profile of how you helped other people really
non-profit organizations
coding problems. Talks and conferences that you've done on significant viewership. So like people have really watched it. So you can you can't put YouTube links, but you can put screenshots of showcasing that you really there's a lot of viewership for it. And a news article maybe covering it is also much better. So
news articles are very helpful.
Yeah,
you need that.
You've done mentorship outside of your day to day, so kind of help other peers to really grow in their field. Mentoring at a university is really good. So yeah, these are the second how you can contribute towards outside your field.
So you see how this can be confusing because these same evidences fall under many other questions like previously discussed. So that's why you really need to know how you want to place your evidences, because you can either place it under this answer or that, or you can put it in mandatory. So you want to make sure that everything is in the correct evidence, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last optional criteria you can fall under is, how do I show that I've shown sufficient ability in the academic field? So like, what have I contributed in academic
Yeah.
research? So you can show that you really you have made one significant contribution to the field in the form of a paper that's been published by top tier peer reviewed journals. So it has to be published
And peer reviewed as well.
And like, your thesis that you did for your MSc or undergraduate does not qualify for this. It has to be published. Evidences of presentations at a peer-reviewed conference, or evidence of being awarded competitive peer-reviewed research grants, evidence of awards received for outstanding applied work, and if these are the four. These are like more for academic people who's really exceptional in terms of merit that they can also obtain. So yeah, these are the four main optional criterias, and
These are the evidences that
evidences.
you need to provide to back
Yeah.
up your application.
Yeah.
So that's the mandatory option. So we really need to sit and kind of draw out what you want to place where, make sure that everything is aligned properly and you meet every criteria that they're looking for. Now, what we have applied, so basically, this was sort of a combined effort where Zahid was so stressed out about his document because there was a lot of write up that we had to do. Which he did a lot of. It's not just you just place your evidence and you say, okay, this is it. You have to reference your documentations. There has to be evidence like picture clippings. There has to be like screenshots. There has to be articles. Everything that you have to like link and reference everything. So yeah, you be prepared to do a lot of write up, and yeah. So what have we applied for?
The evidences we uploaded
Get a checklist first. Yeah.
evidence of work contribution.
Was this your mandatory?
Yeah, showcasing my work contribution. So I've detailed and written all my work contribution that I've done, like the projects and the products I built, with GitHub links of it, and website links, and even screenshots of the code base that I can, as much as I can write, and how amount of lines of code I've written, etc. So I've literally gone through product by product, that all the products I've worked on, and really elaborated on what I've basically built.
Make sure you have a header.
Yeah.
Right, and you follow a structure for all your documents. Like what we have done is we've had a header, like basically in this one. Yeah. So what we've done is in the beginning of like we've written a header of what this document is and what we're evidencing, and then we wrote a little paragraph on what this evidence is and what it showcases, and then we've gone into pointers of like we've done in pointers of listing everything down in points, and under each point we have like a GitHub link for Zahid, for example, and a GitHub link and also a code commit link and screenshots. So we have everything that they need in that one document, and we've summarized each product led achievement as well. Yeah.
Another one we talked about is architecture design. So we've done the same pattern with the header, and we've attached the architecture design screenshot and explaining the architecture, what it's basically doing, and how this architecture helped the product.
Yeah.
Another one is contribute towards open source project. Similar header with the paragraph, and then screenshots of open source projects with the links to it, and how that helped contribute certain certain modules in the industry.
Yeah, and you have to give a idea on what this open source what do you call it project is.
Yeah, you have to give a brief on what the project is.
Yeah,
and
you
how
can't just
it's-
attach screenshot of your
Yeah.
open source this thing. You have to write what it is about.
and
and
how
then
you
you-
helped that open source project, basically.
Yeah.
Another one we did is evidence for national and
So this
international.
is the optional. These are the optional ones.
National and international recognition through awards and excellence. So I've received a few awards in the national level. So those I attached certifications for that, and I've
For
attached
research, this is from university research that he has done.
yeah,
So
attached the
that-
paragraphs explaining about it. I've also got a few national awards in the UK for entrepreneurship, so attach that and proof of that with images,
And
emails, and
if like
screenshots of
and if
getting the award.
yeah, and if a university or an institute or wherever you got the award from, they have posted your name somewhere on their socials or somewhere, get that social media screenshot of what they have posted with your name in it and attach that. That's also very strong evidence. Yeah.
Next one we did is evidence of product growth and achievements. We've done a similar header with a paragraph explaining what the product is, explaining how much the product grew, and show screenshots of showcasing your name within the product. So, like, in major websites like Product Hunt and other websites like that, you basically showcase your product there, and you see that yourself as a member or a contributor towards that product. So, websites like that with screenshots and proof can actually help boosting your evidence.
Right.
So that has to also show screenshots of the growth. So that is one of the key things that you want to see, that you really, the product has since you've
Grown.
joined grown since you've joined.
Yeah.
Evidence of attending technology and entrepreneurship hackathon and events.
Yeah.
This is not in one of the criteria. It used to be when we were doing it. This is evidence of basically you attending many hackathons and events. But we've attached it anyways because in our time it was there.
They removed that option.
Yeah. Then evidence of employment and salary received during employment. You can attach your salary certificate and explaining where you worked during getting that amount of salary of high remuneration. And then finally, evidence of speaking at high profile digital technology events, screenshots of you speaking, photos of you speaking, maybe articles of where this technology event was showcased with the links, YouTube video if there is, with the link. This is all very,
and describe in detail
what you're talking about.
you were talking about and what your significance was in that event.
4 or 5 events that I spoke at in
Yeah.
different conferences, so I basically
Attached all 5
photos of them and videos of them
and news
articles
of
them,
all
basically.
of them.
Yeah. So yeah, these are all our evidences and personal statement again and the references.
Personal statement is
Yeah.
very important. So now that you've spoken about the evidences, you see how you can connect you must connect all of these evidences in your personal statement, because they will look at your personal statement and see how they can validate that with all of your evidences.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that we recommend, and we strongly recommend that you do once you have all of this prepared, make sure you have it all ready.
He's an immigration lawyer, so there's different immigration lawyers in the UK.
People, especially who have experience with the global
talent
visa.
visas.
Yeah.
And if you can ask, we can send you the details. You can just message us in the comments. We can send you the details of the one we went with.
Oh yeah, so when we read about this lawyer, and like a lot of people said, okay, he helped a lot with getting this talent visa and this, that, and all, and like, you'll get a success rate if you go with him, and blah blah blah. And then we got he was expensive also, by the way, and we
200
paid
around 120 200 pounds
200 pounds was it
for an hour.
And we got an appointment with him, and we got on the call. We showed him the evidences that we've prepared, and this guy literally straight up told Zahid that he's not cut for this. He'll not get it. That you're gonna fail the application.
Note one thing, that this was before we prepared the documents the way we prepared it now.
Yeah.
This was way before that. This was like
it was just basic
beginning of the time of we just applied and we just took all the documents we think it is the right way, and we showed it to him, and he said this is not cut it. This wouldn't cut it. You need to wait a year. He told us to wait for 1 more year.
Yeah,
prepare all your documents. Go do more things. Then you can maybe apply.
Then maybe you'll have a chance to apply.
But like
after that call, Zahid was depressed. He was like, okay, we paid like 400 pounds. Now all of it is gone. I can't get it. This guy's saying, and all the people like vouch for the lawyer, and he's saying that I'm not going to get it. So obviously I'm going to fail this. And yeah, it was like a down, like just felt super like down and demotivated. And he was really down because he was very hopeful with his application.
But this didn't mean that I wouldn't not apply. I was still gonna apply.
Yeah, because you already paid for it,
I just
right?
paid for it. Why not apply?
And then we found this other lawyer online, and she was the most amazing person, and thank God for her, because without her we might have failed this application, because she helped with every step of the way. She helped us with every single document. She reviewed all of it, and she said what was wrong with the documents that we prepared and what needed to be fixed to be applicable to go through the process.
We only had 1 hour with her, but it was not enough.
It was very difficult to get an appointment with her as well. She squeezed in sometimes somehow because we said it was urgent. It was very late.
Because
it was very
remember
last
we
minute.
said that the whole process was time boxed, so you only have like 14 days to
14
submit all
days.
the things. It was on the day 11. We
Yeah.
had a call with her,
And 3 days later, it is our deadline. So we had a call
And-
very late.
Um,
And none of
yeah.
our evidences were barely done. Like it was just like we've just put some things in a Word document and that was it.
Yeah.
So it's very last minute. We were underprepared, and then she came in and she looked at everything and she said, "Okay, this is, we need to work this whole thing up, but you do have a chance. You stand a chance to get this.
Yeah.
But you just need to phrase things differently. You just need to add more information in." And she literally went document by document and told us what was wrong in each document and what was needed to be.
Note, we did not have this many amount of documents back then. We had more lesser than this.
We had very less. Like we had like 4 or 3
4
documents.
personal statement, and
And
3
we kind of-
references.
and
which
we come-
references were just like 1 paragraph.
Yeah, our references were like tiny. Like it was just like,
Yeah.
okay, I know Zahid. He's really good at this. Like I endorse him. I recommend he get the visa. That was it.
Yeah.
And she literally told us, because we had few evidences combined together under one evidence, which we did not know. So she told us to break up these evidences, put this as different documents. So there you have no more number of evidences to submit. Yeah. And she was like, it's all thanks to her that we actually got through. And she really helped us with the personal statement as well, in order to like remove certain things that we have added in the personal statement which is unnecessary and irrelevant to the application. We removed all of that. We edited the whole thing. So after her call, we kind of redid all of the write-ups.
Evidences, yeah.
Yeah.
We then contacted references, told them to ask them if they could basically rewrite it and give them like a draft of what we want to see in the reference, and they did it by thankfully on time, and just literally the last day we submitted everything.
Thank God. So Zahid did everything with his like managers and CEOs from the companies that he worked at, and they were so amazing to provide a very detailed like reference for the application. It was really good.
So first we did the Global Talent Stage 1 application. Now we have all the evidences ready. After speaking to the lawyer, 24th of October we submitted. Yeah. About 3 weeks in, we get a response. That was a very stressful 3 weeks because they do these kind of edits where they check, and if you read through the forums once you're in the technician.
Very important, like nice thing for you to do after you submit your evidence is go through these.
You can do it before you submit your evidences. Go to the forums. A lot of people have gone through the whole process.
Everyone who's applying for the Global Talent Visa is on that forum, so you can see updates. You can see what people are.
You can see what's the current timeline of responses as well.
And if some people got rejected, they also add that there and what their reason for rejection was, which will be very helpful for you to make sure you avoid that mistake in your application.
Exactly.
So these forums are very helpful. And during your wait time, make sure you're on there and give people, you will see people are giving updates like, oh, and there are these edits these technician reviewers do. And they say that there was this whole thing about if you get 3 edits, that means you're not going to make it.
If you get 3 or more edits, you're going to get rejected.
You're going to get rejected.
And I got 4 edits.
He got 4 edits.
And
so every day we were checking for the edits.
So I got 4 edits and I'm like, okay. I call Afra, I'm like, okay, we're not going to get it. So let's move on. And then I was on a call with somebody, and then suddenly I get an email from the home office. It's like, okay, this application update. So I'm like, okay, this is rejection. Normally people say application update, it means it's a rejection. I open it and you're like, yes, you've got an endorsement from TechNation. You've received it. I'm like, okay.
No way. So at that point, we were already given up. We knew all that time is just gone.
Yeah.
All the time that we spent preparing this is just a
so
waste.
Not all the time edits are accurate.
Yeah, so don't believe in the edits, because if you go to
probability is more than 3 edits is you're higher. You're probably not going to get it. But there are certain sometimes you don't.
They might do the edits and you will go through.
Yeah.
So there's this assumption in the forum that if you get 3 edits, you're rejected. So don't fall for that. That's not true. Especially that as evidence, like in our case, that did not come through. After the 4th edit only we got.
So I got my endorsement November 19th, and after that, basically we went to stage 2 of the process, which is applying for the visa. So it's pretty straightforward. You put in all the information. You add any dependents if you have. So I have added Afra and as a dependent, and we basically put the application together for the visa. We put for the BRP and for your
For the NHS,
and you pay your NHS
national
health
insurance.
surcharges for the
Yeah.
insurance, health insurance for the amount of visa years you're going to stay here. You have a flexibility of choosing how many years you want to stay from 1 to 5. You can utilize the whole 5 if you really want to get the leave to remain, or
Yeah.
choose as you like.
So we got the 5 years.
We took the 5 years.
We took the 5 years.
And yeah, and here we are. That's the
Yeah. And then you go apply for the biometrics and everything in the visa office, and
Yeah.
you give in your you give them, submit your passport, and then they
You get
call
your
you
visa.
back with the visa. That's the whole process. And
Hope this makes sense, and hope you understood this and it's clear.
it's a very tricky process.
Yeah.
And you like there's not much many people talking about it, which did not help at that stage when
There's
we
a few
applied.
people talking about it, I would say, on YouTube.
Yeah,
I've
there
seen
are
a few
Yeah,
videos.
we've seen a few videos.
But like the information, it is very general.
Very
like
general,
it would
yeah.
just explain what that what are the evidences, but like how to approach it is not really mentioned. I've seen in many videos. So like take it, spend a lot of time in it and effort in it, because
Yeah.
it would be worth it if you get it.
Even though it is like an extra charge to meet the lawyer and speak to review it with the lawyer, do it, because
Yeah.
it really makes a big difference.
It's
So,
a good lawyer.
Anyways, you're
And
putting
don't just go with one lawyer. Go with 2 lawyers if you first lawyer.
No, but
doesn't
I would
believe
say
in
go
you.
with her, because we
Yeah.
have got she is a savior to this whole process. And if you do go with her, you will realize why I'm saying that. And she's really so meet with a lawyer and review it. It's very important to do that. And anyways, you're putting in money and effort into this whole process anyway, so might as well give this additional amount and get this done. Yeah, so that's
about it.
That's
Thank
about the
you
whole
for
process. Yeah, and if you guys want to see, if anyone out there wants to see more details into like the documents and how we wrote up these documents, and details on that, let us know. We can do that as well, because that's one thing that we were looking at while we were doing that, to see how we can write the personal statement, examples of the personal statement and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So if you're interested, let us know. We can do something like that as well, if that helps. Yeah. But overall, I just hope this video helps and
Yeah.
gives an idea as to what this visa is and how you can apply and how you can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope this answers all of our family questions as well, because nobody gets it.
Yeah.
Nobody gets what this visa is. And it's such a huge, complicated process. They don't understand the pain behind it.
Yeah, when you tell people you got the visa, like, oh, nice.
Yeah, it is.
Well,
what it
thank
is.
you for watching, and
I hope this helps.